Welcome, everybody, to the 100th episode of Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. This is a show where we talk about the latest in comics, movies, TVs, and everything else that catches our eye. I'm Ricky, and with me, as always, is Dennis.
I'm definitely not Dennis.
Wow.
Yeah. Happy 100th, you guys.
It's the 100th episode. I still can't get it right. Full disclosure, I am very ill from Comic-Con. The con flu has gotten me, but that's not stopping me from doing the show for you guys.
That's dedication for 100 right there.
Just power through, man. Power through. You'll you're definitely the only one that I know that's super sick from Comic-Con. But I'm sure there's plenty of people I don't know.
You didn't go to the sex party. That's why.
I did not. I chose to go home to my dogs and be responsible.
And that is why you are healthy.
I was the most drunk I've been in years, though, on the Friday night, though.
That was a party.
My wife, I guess, at one point told Ricky to go because we were separated. They were in the line for a game that was inaccessible to me, and at one point she told Ricky, "Hey, go make sure Dennis is good on his drink," because they had my drinks, and I think Ricky took that to mean be his drink bitch for the rest of the night. So every time I would just be having a conversation, I'd look down and Ricky would be holding a drink with a straw in my face, and then I would just drink it. Nice. And I don't know how many drinks Ricky did that with.
Well, they were all doubles, mind you.
They were all doubles?
Yeah, well done, Ricky.
Because we got there early, right? No one's in line, and as you and Lindsay told me, get your drinks now because it's gonna get busy. And I saw another guy in front of me ask for doubles. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. So I did.
Every time?
Well, to be fair, I only had 3 drinks there, and there were two of the 3 were doubles. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I had more than 3.
Not the ones I got you. If someone else got you a drink, then that's them. But my drinks that I had gotten you were doubles for sure.
Welcome, Clark. Thank you for thanking us or congratulating us. Yes, appreciate it. All I know is when I left that party and I was heading towards the car, I was like, whoa, I'm getting drunker as I drive my chair. It was pretty nuts. It was pretty crazy. Thank goodness that all traffic was shut down in that area.
We got to see plenty of our peers, other fellow podcasters of higher status and TikTokers.
I mean, we saw really famous people in the TikTok community that don't, but some of them followed me, and I thought that was cool.
Hey, there you go.
I had a very long 30-minute conversation with Bill Roseman, the head of Marvel Games, about Marvel games, and that was probably one of the highlights of my con. I hope he enjoyed that conversation because I did.
I had a weird drunk conversation with Straw Hat Goofy. I don't remember what I said.
I had no idea who that guy was, and it's funny. Selena 2 days later texted me. He's like, "You met Straw Hat Goofy?" I'm like, "Who's that?" She's like, "This guy." She sent a picture. I guess you posted it or Clark posted it.
Clark posted it for sure.
I did not know who he was. I felt bad.
He's super famous. Super famous. Also, Jay Stubes was the other one that's super famous. We're just name dropping now. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, you are.
Well,
it was beautiful, Clark.
Let's wrap it up back up to the show though. We're at 100. Did you think we would make it this far? Is that a loaded question?
Sure.
Your name on it, so
I thought we'd make it this far. I just thought we'd have more viewers at this point, but that's okay.
We technically doubled it, but doubling one still gets you 2.
Oh man. No, I enjoy it. Like I said before, this is we've gotten this show down to a point where it's very little work. What they say, do what you love. And
it's for me, it's an outlet every week of just talking. Actually, I remember this is what I told Straw. I'm like, the show that we do is an outlet for me to talk about all the nerd stuff, so I don't have to type in a Discord and fight a Discord battle all week.
There you go.
So, this is what I do instead.
Yeah.
Better format for it.
It's and I just get to invite, our different friends on here to hang out on a Friday night and do the thing that we would normally do, which is, talk crap or positively about the nerdy content that we consume this week. So it's no different. It's just we share it with the world.
Exactly.
And hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us in the ass. That's all.
We'll never be able to run for politics or be any type of government job. So
no, we the second we had Frank be a co-host on the show, it was done. That was done. It's okay.
That
It's
ship
okay.
has sailed.
Yeah.
Well, that truly sailed, but that's all right.
Well, if you haven't alluded to it by now, yes, we were at Comic-Con last week. That's why there was not a show. I guess real quick, I want to get the sense, Ian, I know you weren't at Comic-Con, but what was the Comic-Con vibe in the news, given the weird year that it probably was?
That it was a weird year? Honestly, that was the vibe I got. Like, usually there's all kinds of big news coming out of the panels, and here's the hype machine for this, here's the hype machine for that. Even if it's that they showed an exclusive trailer that I don't get to see, there's usually some news coming out of those areas. And because a lot of that Hall H stuff, or at least the big players there, weren't there this year. I mean, you guys can speak more.
Hall H was empty on Sunday.
It just seemed like there wasn't that much going on. But what was cool was, at least from what I saw that you guys were posting and just what I saw in general, there was a lot more information coming out about comics and toys and some of the things that kind of often get now overshadowed by the big movies and the big stuff. So that was kind of cool to see. I got to see more artwork and more toy stuff and pictures and things than I normally would coming out of the show.
Yeah. And apologies, by the way. So on Sunday I brought my camera, mounted it to my chair, and I hit the button every 5 seconds. I have a bunch of pictures that I have not uploaded to the internet yet. It's just because I was so tired after Sunday happened, and then I had some weird plumbing problems here in the neighborhood, and it was just, it's been a week. But my plan is tomorrow to share all of the remaining wisdoms and findings and all the cool stories from Comic-Con. But I can share whatever today. It's fine. I enjoyed this con more than previous ones in a long time, because it was weird. Because I'm just tired of the commercials. Like I don't like sitting in line to watch a trailer for something I'm already going to consume. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love to be like surprised. Like, when I saw the trailer for The Creator a few months ago, that was a surprise. I was like, wow, this is a cool movie. Like I'll watch this, but like if it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like, yes, the trailer's cool looking. I'm very happy I watched the trailer at home on my TV at my leisure. But you don't need to sell me on that movie. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go see it. So, So I, when I was planning my schedule for the week, there's a billion interesting panels ranging from like, hey, this is a business panel on how to be better at your finances when doing creative stuff, and I'm like, maybe I should go to that. But then, but then there's also, like, oh man, there's this cool X-Men panel, and it's like, hey, so you can choose, you can pick and choose what stuff you want to do. But like, so I did put stuff down on my list that as a backup, right? Like I put the Ninja Turtles panel on my list. I put the Spider-Man 2 video game panel on my list. Like I put Babylon 5's new animated movie on my list. These are things that I put on the list just because, well, I definitely want to see those, but I think I just put them on the list to remind me, hey, you better go watch those later, because you're not actually going to go to the panel. Like that's not going to happen, And so for me, it just made it fun because I got to go and do like lots of other stuff that was, different for me. Like this is the first year in 24 years that it took me all 5 days to finish the floor. I never managed to get the whole floor done because there was until the last day, because there was so many people on the floor
It was
that
busy.
my wife and I like would take breaks. So we do several rows of the showroom floor, which is massive, We do like maybe 10 rows, and then we'd be like, yeah, let's go outside and find something else to do, or let's go to a panel, or let's go, let's go see some activation across the street or something like that. And that was our cadence, like an hour on the floor, then an hour or two out away from the floor, and then back to the floor, So yeah, it made Sunday really fun for me because I was like, there's still stuff I haven't seen. And that's weird, like I've never had that feeling before. Like it used to be, I killed that floor on Thursday and Friday, it's done. Then Saturday's Hall H commercial day, and then Sundays like tie up loose ends and go see if stuff's on sale or whatever.
Buy stuff, yeah.
Yeah. But I think this year, like just the nature of like of the event being so different, it forced me to take it to treat it differently, and that made it fun for me because it was a new experience, like that's so yeah. And there was news coming out of it, but yeah, toys, games, and comics definitely got to shine, and I was happy for it,
It
that's
was
really
very there's like a stress that I get with Comic-Con. I know, right? It's like supposed to be a fun time, but I think for the past 10 years that I've been going, there's just this inherent, I got to do this, and do my schedule, and it's so I can see what I want to see. But given that these big marquee moments were gone or missing, it was nice to be able to walk around and, most of the stuff that I wanted to see, you didn't need to line up for an hour to go see. You just walk in or, 10 minutes
That's
ahead.
cool.
And it was cool. It was weird. It took a lot to get used to, but by like Saturday and Sunday, it was nice. You really got to enjoy the floor. You got to enjoy the panels that you did go see.
I got into every single panel I wanted to get in, and that's not, I mean, I know that's not a big feat because I usually do get into my panels, but my friend Oliver, who was just randomly like hanging out with us for 2 days, he got into all of the panels that I got into too without an attendant. He just like literally would walk in, and I'd be like, what is going on with this convention? Because I was worried when he said, hey, I'm going to come down. Can I stay at your place? I'm like, sure, but like, let's set expectations. Comic-Con's pretty hard to get into, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, don't worry. All I want to do is hang out with you for the whole weekend. And I'm like, no, I think you're missing the point. That's really hard. That's really, really hard. But like, it wasn't, and that's so
Very
weird
cool.
to me. Like he was there when he wanted to be, and he wasn't there when he didn't want to be. And it was so strange. Like everything was very freeing. And Ricky, you partied hard, man, because you didn't have to do a Hall H on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, typically Friday, Friday and Saturday are the big party days, right? But I usually only party Saturday because Friday I'm in line for a Hall H. But
yeah,
having the freedom to not do that, it was fun. But antics aside, the people, at these parties that we were able to go to, just seeing podcasters that I've been listening to since junior high, and just being able to talk to them for a minute or two, and just really thank them for the stuff that they've been putting out, and I'm sure they probably hear it all the time, but for me, that's like the smallest thanks I can give to someone I've been literally listening to for hundreds of hours of content, on a weekly basis.
That is literally my favorite thing about Comic-Con is that I can talk to the people that create the content that I consume at any level, really. Like it's much harder to talk to like, Arnold Schwarzenegger if he's there or whatever, something like that. But like the comic people that, that make your books, the people that make your TV shows, the people that make your games, right? Like I like John Boy Myers. I met John Boy Myers probably 10, 15 years ago when my friend Chi and I were walking the floor, and we noticed that this guy was selling art that was from the game the Versus system game. And we were so excited that the next day we went home that night, got versus cards with his names on them, came back the next day and said, "Hey man, could you sign these for us?" And he did.
Nice.
And he was so happy to see that. And ever since then, we just kind of became friends. And like he's always very happy to see me, and I'm happy to see him every year. We always say hi. I watch his career grow and grow and grow to the point where like he's doing all this stuff for Marvel and DC and like just really big high profile stuff. And then what's really funny is full circle this year, he's selling art from Marvel Snap because he's once again doing a card game. And once again, it's a card game that I'm super addicted to. And I just thought it was so funny that I got to go up to him and just say like, dude, do you remember how we met? Like it was versus, and now here I am, and you're all over this game I play, and it's so funny. And so he just kept giving me pictures from the cards, and I'm like, I don't deserve this, but it's so great, like because that's Comic-Con, right? Like you could just hang out and talk to the people that make a difference in your life, like, and that's really cool, man. That's a very special thing.
The Snap artwork is really cool. It's really good too. So
has the stuff they showed at the panel?
It's good.
It's probably on Snap Zone because I saw that YouTuber that we always share among each other, you know, that talks about like all the new cards and stuff. Like he was front row at the Art of Marvel Snap panel. It was funny, and people were like pointing at him and taking pictures with him, and I can't even remember his freaking name. But you know, it's cool. Like that's Comic-Con. Like everybody's famous to somebody. You know what I mean? Like on literally on the Sunday, like I was at a toy panel, like it was a breaking into toys panel, and there's really cool people on the stage, right, at the panel. But I'm looking around the room, and it's like all of the toy reviewers ever they're all there. And so like it turned into this crazy huddle at the end, like outside of the room, where everybody's just saying hi to each other and stuff. And like there were people that knew who I was. Nice. And I was like, what? I have fans? Like, and that was nuts. That was weird. Like that was weird. And that's what Comic-Con is, you know, but like that guy genuinely loved talking to me. Like it was really cool. Like he just kept asking me questions, and I'm just like, I guess I'm this guy now. I didn't know.
You are that guy.
Yeah, that was weird.
You are that guy now.
He's like, you're 10X Media. And I'm like, whoa, you know what that is? That's
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Should we talk about some toys that got announced?
We can talk about toys all day if you want, man.
Who's this guy?
It's Alistair Smythe.
Alistair Smythe.
He is a character from the comics and the animated TV show, but I don't believe he ever looked like that in the comics. I could be wrong. He's probably has, honestly. But that specific look is like he's a scientist that was working on the spider slayers, and then, you know, he did crazy stuff to himself because he got angry at Spider-Man, and he made himself look like a freaking freak. But the best part about him is this toy is designed, you know, to look like his appearance in the 90s cartoon, and it's a 2-pack with Peter Parker straight out of the 90s cartoon. But that Alistair Smythe has the sickest mullet ever, dude. It is amazing. So yeah, that went up. This is the last of the VHS Spider-Man series memorial toys or whatever, and that 2-pack went up for sale last week, I believe. And then yeah, Hasbro was just on fire. They were showing off a lot of stuff. I will say I was kind of bummed. I thought they were going to reveal a HasLab, and they didn't. So
well, they did, but
they did. No, sorry, Marvel Legends did not reveal one.
Well, they teased one though, right? Saying the next one after this one is a Marvel one, right?
Yeah, but that's like we're talking like September, man.
Yeah,
like that's
2 months away.
It's gonna be far. But yeah, they are proud of themselves. They gave themselves a pat on the back because they showed off some other figures, and they've gotten a lot of flack over the years because Hasbro starts they start a new team, even though they have all these other ones in the backlog that they never finished, and they get a lot of crap because sometimes it takes them like 10 years to finish a team. So they were really happy with themselves that this year, in the span of this full year, in the span of like 6 months, actually, they have
they got the guys out quick.
They started a team and finished a team. They got the Squadron Supreme, the core 5 members. 2 of them were released earlier this year, and then another 2, I think, are on their way anytime soon. And then the final figure that is going to be released, they announced, is the Power Princess, which, if you don't know Squadron Supreme, yeah, she looks like Wonder Woman.
I realized I did not get the picture of Chris Starr.
Oh, I have a picture of Chris Starr. I can find it for you. Chris Starr is a deep ass cut, though. So they are making a figure of. So I'll give a brief history really quick. You can take this picture down for a minute. So you guys know that Marvel Comics in the 80s is responsible for your love of Transformers and G.I. Joe and I think Sectars, and it's more for Ian than for Ricky, honestly.
Oh yeah.
But so the trick is Hasbro kind of formed a partnership with Marvel when they were making all these toys. Especially, I think the partnership started with Transformers because they brought over this IP from Japan, weird ass characters. They didn't really like some of them for different toy lines. And they were just trying to figure out like a story. And so they went to Jim Shooter at Marvel, and he helped create, or he had a team that helped create all the iconic characters that we all know, like Optimus Prime. That was created by Marvel. Like,
really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. Marvel created the name Optimus Prime and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like Megatron, like it's all a creation of Marvel. And so Marvel put out the books that were meant to help sell the toys. And then Marvel also helped produce the cartoons for G.I. Joe and Transformers, right? And so it's really funny that after a certain amount of time, Marvel's like, hey man, this is kind of whack. Like, we're making Hasbro all this money because they're making toys out of the stuff that we're making stories about. Maybe we should make our own toy character. And so they came up with this dude named Chris Starr, and he's super weird, but he's super niche. And the Marvel Hasbro panel, or the Hasbro Marvel Legends group finally decided that the Marvel Legends line has been going for so long. Why limit yourselves to just the characters that like are currently in the Marvel universe? You know what I mean? So they made a Chris Starr toy, and the world freaked out. Like a very few, like 5 people in the world freaked out.
When I walked by that booth and they showed him.
What's up?
People were freaking out about it.
People were freaking out, dude. Nas, our good friend Nas, my phone was blowing up real fast when he found out about Chris Starr.
That's awesome.
So it is a cool thing. Like if you're into that, I will find you the picture of Chris Starr. But yeah, it's a special thing for some people, and I appreciate that.
Well, he's in the same family like as Brahm, Space Knight, and all that, right?
Correct. Like as in toy figures that didn't get
Micronauts, are they in that too?
Yep.
Or Mask, right?
I think Mask was a DC comic, actually. If I remember correctly, Mask is a DC comic.
I think that's right.
Well, let's bring it back to these people.
Hold on, I have Chris Starr.
Okay.
I have it for you. Right there. Where'd he go? There he is.
Nice. Oh, there he is. Okay.
There he is in the left-hand side. He's right there.
In all his blue glory.
That is a weird translucent plastic dude. But it's Chris Starr. There you go, man. And then,
it's pretty cool they did the whole squadron.
Yeah.
That's like, I didn't know, I read the comics and stuff. I didn't know that they were as like big enough to get the whole series for themselves.
Oh yeah, they're pretty cool. They're evil Justice League. That's what they are.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I didn't realize that they were like big enough to get a whole
Well,
focused
they make toys of everybody.
line of toys. But yeah,
They got Crystar, bro.
I was
Nothing's
gonna
off.
say, if they got Crystal, they probably
But-
pull it from any which way now at this point. So.
But back to your point, Ricky. Yeah, there was definitely people asking the question: does this mean we can have Rom the Space Knight? So, and that person was Nas also.
Isn't Rom like a bigger guy though? Right? If I'm not mistaken.
I mean,
No.
we should really have Nas on for this conversation.
All right.
But bringing it back to the other side of Marvel Legends, the more familiar ones, sometimes grown too familiar, they are doing a Marvel Knights wave, and the first figure they showed off was Midnight Suns Iron Man. Dear God, please make this the last Midnight Suns toy.
Is this the only Midnight Suns toy?
Yes, it is. But I
You
don't
could do
want
a Robbie.
I don't want to celebrate that game.
You know what? That game's got some okay designs.
That game's got what?
Okay designs.
Yeah. I just don't want to keep remembering this game. You know what I mean? Like, at least my Avengers games, I played that for like a year. So like the toys I have from it are like, well, this is kind of cool. This game, I played it maybe 3 times, and I just can't. With this game. It hurts.
I put in a decent number of hours. I haven't finished it, but I found the joy in it after
Have you gotten all the date points up on all your characters?
Yeah, I kind of
costumes.
like, I approach it like where I go in and I kind of do that stuff while I'm while I'm getting up and like getting a snack, or while I'm like half paying attention. I just like run around. I don't I talk to people and I kind of mash through it, and I don't really care all that much. And then I'm like, sweet, now it's time to go fight. And I go do the battles. Like I only kind of really pay attention to the cutscenes, like
that's fair.
Some of the character interactions have been pretty.
The game part of that game is not the problem.
The game, yes. Well, I think there's two games there. One's a dating sim, and the other's a card game. And I just have a problem with. It's already weird enough that a game called Midnight Suns is a card game, but it's also a dating sim, and that's the part I can't. Can't. Well, with that said, they also showed off the Luke Cage that we've seen before, right? They teased us this guy earlier in the year.
It's a good looking Luke Cage.
Yeah, that's what actually everybody said in the panel. Like, everybody went ooh, and they clapped for that one, because like that is a really good looking Power Man right there.
The way the hair is on the band, that's
on the tiara. It's a tiara, sir.
Tiara, yes.
Tiara. For princesses.
Looking at the Iron Man, I don't even like the red repulsors. Like,
I mean, I got a junk drawer filled with all the different colors of the rainbow.
I know.
So it's fine.
I don't even like the red.
Look at this Daredevil.
Ooh. Oh wow.
This Daredevil is a freaking ninja and a half. I love him so much, and he's going to go really good with that Elektra that is coming out this year, or has already come out, depending on where you got it. Thoughts on this guy?
That's a handsome Daredevil. I like that.
A lot of red.
That beard. I like the puffy pants, giving a little more ninja vibe, like you said. I think that's a good look.
His knees look weird.
Yeah, that's because they're puffy pants. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I think it's the way the bend is with the puffy pants.
The knees, and he needs toes.
Yeah.
I think a little bit more of that puff should have been brought down onto the knee, the lower knee.
And then Clea.
So
Charlize Theron.
We've got Clea. No, that's not Charlize Theron. I mean, Charlize Theron will be playing her, but this is the comic version of Clea. I don't know what to call her. Like Doctor Strange's, like, sidekick, assistant. I don't know. The other person besides Wong. And so, and then moving on, we have Lady Bullseye. That is a really cool figure. I first learned about this character when I was doing research for Hitmonkey. And I think she showed up in the Hitmonkey comics that I had been reading. But very cool design on this character. Really cool paint apps. Very excited for that one. And then Hasbro was really happy to say that they took another shot at the Hand Ninja. This time they're rebranding this one the Fist. I guess it's another side of the hand, or whatever, another faction of the hand. The Fist Ninjas have a little bit retooling to give them a little bit more articulation. and they've got a cool new skull mask accessory to go over it. And they threw a jab at Mattel and said we wanted to show them how to properly do a skull inside of a hood. And I'm like, that's yeah, everybody said that. Yeah. And then the Blade is the best freaking figure ever. Oh my god. My god, that Blade is so cool looking.
That is really good.
Right?
That is
so
incredible.
Good. It's so good. I don't even mind that he doesn't come with an alternate head that's just like not mouth open with fangs out.
It's just always pissed off.
It's just always pissed off. Always gonna bite you. It's so cool.
And that's the way that Blade should be. He looks like he should just always want to bite you with that outfit.
Yeah, exactly. And he comes with stakes. He comes with glaives. He comes with swords. He's ready to go, man. It's all the 90s leather.
Action Blade right there.
Yeah,
there's no chill with that Blade.
Yeah, and then the Build-A-Figure broke my heart a little bit because it's so good.
Yeah, what is this?
It is the mindless one. These are the mindless servants of Dormammu in the Dark Dimension. They're his army characters basically. They're literally the mindless ones.
So you have to buy more than one?
Oh my god, that's the problem.
I was just gonna say that sucks because you want to have more than one, but
how many mindless ones do you need?
Like, how many do you need? Well, see, he comes with 2 different effects on his face, so you can have that effect, or you can have the regular red line there. So you at least need 2. Like, they've done this once before. They did it with the Mandroid, where they made that the Build-A-Figure. It's like a shield, big, mobile suit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that one pissed me off too because I only ever had the one, and then I was at a local comic store. I was making some deals, and then I got some store credit, and then I just saw in their case they had another Mandroid. I just grabbed that and picked it up. I got the 2. That's all I got. I'll have to figure out something similar for this guy because there's no way in hell I'm buying 2 of that Blade and 2 of that Daredevil and 2 of that Clea and 2. No. I'm not buying all those. As much as I like the Blade, I don't need 2 Blades.
You got to support Hasbro, so they'll keep on making these toys.
Dude, they're killing me.
That's a little too much support right there.
That's too much, right? But hey, Ian, if your kid decides that he wants select figures from that wave, because I will be getting 2 Fist Ninjas. That's the problem there. See?
Yeah.
So I'm already gonna end up with an arm. What are you gonna do? Anyways,
in case you need a pile of dismembered limbs, you have one.
Yes, but that's the toys. Those are all the toys. And by when I say that, those are specifically the Marvel Legends because oh my god, were there toys at that convention? They were all over the place. HasLab did announce the Star Wars Ahsoka TV show tie-in.
Oh, there's
the Ghost from Rebels.
The Ghost ship. They're doing a Life Day Wookiee, which is kind of cool. With the cloak. Mondo, that was other news. Mondo's going to do the action figure cards for Snap, right? The toy photography cards for Snap.
Well, we might be breaking that. We're breaking that officially here, but
oh
wow. I talked to the art director, and after the panel was over, because they listed us on the slide. They listed artists that they'll be working with in the future. And when I asked them if they had considered doing toy photography variants for their game, said yes. And not only are we considering it, we're doing it. And so they said, you saw Mondo was on the list. Yeah, that's what Mondo's going to be doing. So Mondo makes some really cool toys. I'm really interested to see the photography in the video game. I think that would be super cool to see that.
That will be.
Just to see actual toys in my video game. That's badass.
That is cool.
Probably not going to buy them though. I'll just wait till I get them.
Wait till you unlock them.
Yeah.
Well, let's shift over to what we're here for. We have a loaded spotlight this week.
I thought we were here for all of this.
I mean, we're here for all of this, right? But we got to talk about the meat and potatoes of Secret Invasion and Harley Quinn.
Okay, can you get the bad one out of the way first?
All right, I'll play the video and we'll see which one we start with.
Let's talk Secret Invasion.
Yeah, Secret Invasion. Episodes 5 and 6. The finale episodes. Whew, I want to hear Ian's thoughts on. Let's hear Ian's thoughts on the series first, and then I want to hear Dennis's thoughts on the series.
Oh man. Well, you know, it had me intrigued going in early on, and I think it kind of just lost steam and ran out of ideas. And there were some moments that were cool.
Mhm.
I will say, like, what I really did enjoy, there were moments with Nick Fury as a character, as you kind of got to see a little bit more of him as a character that I thought were cool. The problem was, and oftentimes they were undercut by things that uncooled them in ways that like ruined and negated what was happening. That was awesome. So it was like, you'd get a really cool monologue, but then it would turn out that it really wasn't him. Or you'd get a cool scene with him, but it would be undercut by the fact that everything else that's happening around was kind of pointless. Like, you got to see a little bit of Nick Fury's humanity throughout the series, which I thought was cool because we've seen this like super always on point for Nick Fury. But at the same time, that was cool. But I wanted to also see more of Nick Fury being the Nick Fury that we know and love, the guy that's got plans on top of plans. And we never really got to see that awesome moment. We got to see under the shell what he's like as a slightly vulnerable. We got to see cool moments like that, but we never got to see him be the badass Nick Fury that we ended with, or that we know. And it just kind of all ended with just sort of like yeah, that happened. Like, it didn't, I don't know. The series really ended up with, I don't think anything got better with him arriving on scene to fix things. I don't think anything, if anything, I could argue that it got worse for a lot of Skrulls specifically. But
yeah.
And I mean, a couple characters died along the way, which, it got worse for them too. They died. So I just don't think that it was definitely not the strongest of the Marvel TV shows. There was moments I enjoyed, but I don't think that it's going to be one I'll watch again, probably.
All right. Dennis?
Which is unfortunate because I love Sam Jackson a lot. So
I would go so far as to say that it is hands down the weakest of all Marvel shows.
The weakest.
I liked MODOK better than this.
Wow.
I like Hit Monkey better than this too.
Wow.
You're putting it like at the bottom, including everything.
I'm putting it at the bottom. It was the worst because I like to talk about Frank because he was on the show for so long and he's still a friend of the show. Frank had a gripe with Marvel, right, which kind of made it hard for him to keep doing this show because like his gripe was Marvel tends to undercut their serious moments with humor. And I get it. I get like I get how if that's not what you're there for, it would not be fun, right? And I think a lot of people associate that humor with the Marvel charm that's got them as far as they have, right? That's kind of some of the complaints that the DC movies get often is that they don't have enough lightheartedness on occasions and stuff like that, That said, I think they did a weird twist here on this show. Instead of undercutting cool, serious moments with humor, they undercut them they undercut the overall plot lines that have been occurring throughout the entire Marvel universe with things that they thought were cool Skrull things happening. And I think that was more offensive to me than a joke, because I think this show created a ton of plot holes that I don't know if I can care enough to follow them as they fix them. You know what I mean? Like, that's, I think, what hurt me the most.
Are you referring to like the roadie stuff, or
I'm referring to all of it, man. All of it. But I think the biggest one I'm referring to, aside from what you guys were saying is like it totally made Nick Fury look inept in every single moment he ever did anything, right? Like even the final conflict wasn't Nick Fury. Like
Yeah, exactly.
that was dumb, and I didn't even understand how she would be able to have that conversation with like
that was the thing. It was the probably one of the most engaging conversations between the Gravik and Fury as characters, and it wasn't Fury. Like, so it was one of those where it was like you had this really cool, like awesome, like this what could be a cool moment that completely undercut it.
I like
literally 2 seconds later.
Gravik's speech is awesome.
It was great.
But that
his energy was
meant
on
for Nick Fury. That
his
speech
energy
was meant for Fury.
there.
Yeah. It robbed both of them. It robbed both of them of of something cool, I think. And then honestly, it robbed us as fans of like any continuity and any like. Here's the problem. I remember Avengers Endgame. They made a time machine, and then I was like, "There's your biggest plot hole now. Your freaking time machine, right?" Yeah. Now I don't know. I think the time machine's tied with freaking Super Skrull that has the powers of everyone, including Miss Marvel, and chooses to use powers beyond or besides Miss Marvel. Like, what is that? Why do you use the big fat muscle arm when you could just be Miss Marvel?
Because it looks cool. But
because it looks cool.
I'll say this: like, I think the show was mediocre. Do I think it's the worst piece of Marvel content? No, I'm not gonna go that far.
I meant the Marvel TV shows, like.
But I really, for as lackluster as the last 2 episodes were, I do like the chips that are on the table moving forward. Now, will they do anything with those chips? You know, those loose ends? I don't know. We have to wait a year or 2 for stuff to start coming back around. But I kind of like the idea of having a new kind of Wanda replacement, right? Of, hey, this thing is super powerful. We all got to kill her, right? I can start putting the pieces together on like, hey, maybe the Thunderbolts is about killing Gaia,
but
right?
I don't care enough about Gaia because the movies didn't work hard enough to make me care about Talos, and the only character that I ever remotely cared about in the entire series that got robbed was Maria Hill. Like I thought we were going on a journey with Maria Hill, and then we just lost her.
We didn't.
and so that for me was the first knife in the back from the show. Is it told me that all this time I'd been investing in this character didn't actually matter because she didn't really get to ever do anything significant before she died. So like that was annoying, right? So then when Talos died, I was like, yeah, same diff. Cool. Like you never got to do anything, you know, like I almost felt sorry for you. Maybe, but you know what? This is going to be cool because Nick Fury is going to be really emotional and it's going to, oh, no, he doesn't do that either. Okay, cool. No. So like, what am I supposed to be excited about? So then when Super Skrull shows up and can do everything ever, like, but I don't care about her as a character because her defining characteristic is that her dad and her mom died. Like that. Yeah. I don't know why I'm supposed to care about this Super Skrull. And yeah, I feel like
the show ends at such a weird, like, it really felt like, man, is there not like another episode or 2, right? Like it ends in a really weird spot. And if anything is one of my biggest gripes, but again, I'm interested to see what they do with Gaia. I think you can do some cool things with her. I like the paranoia now with the Skrull hit squad, right? And what that does to I think that's really cool. It's
dumb though. It's
an okay idea because it's like turning, you know, the camera on current society and all that, but it was very rushed, shoved in at the end. In like, hey, we got 2 minutes, we got to wrap this up. Let's show a few people.
That's what it felt like. It really did.
And you know, but it didn't really earn it. I didn't feel like it earned it.
But also, there's a whole group of aliens living in Norway too.
Yeah, what does that do?
And nobody cares about them. Like,
did we declare war on them?
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's cool. If they do something with it, all right, this is kind of cool. If they don't do anything, doing some research on
They're
the
just
show.
mad because the scroll look like non-human biologics. That's all.
Yeah, of course. But isn't that a thread in the comics where the Dark Avengers, whatever, invade New Asgard?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
Ring.
I see the pieces, but again, it's way too early to know what's going to happen, especially knowing we got the Marvels next or Loki next. Like,
I agree with Clark. I would be surprised if we see references to the hit squads in any other property, including the Marvels.
Yeah,
I think that was their attempt to just be poignant, but without actually like doing anything about it. Like, I don't know, man. Because I think Marvel's gonna realize that this story didn't sell well, right? There's a lot of negative reviews out there about this show.
It's a bummer because the character moments in this show are some of the best, and I think people are upset with some of the undercutting with the Rhodey stuff.
Exactly.
I still think those are great moments, and they're touching on some themes that the MCU has yet to go into.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to be taken as like, all right, we got to stop with these conversations.
But that's what I'm saying is like it did have good moments that every time it had a good moment, it completely like undercut itself. And that's what hurt is it's like, why do you feel the need to keep doing that? Do you guys not see that? Like my thing is like, do the editors not see this as they're editing that they have gold here on one side and then they freaking attach shit right next to it. And you're like, what are you doing, editors? Like, are they like just my hands are tied, bro? I know this scene is like Oscar worthy right here. And then just crap. Like, I don't get it. And that's why I can't even say it's mediocre because I'm not doing an average here. You know, it's not like I'm doing math. I'm actually just saying like you have some seriously bad moments in your story that completely make it impossible for me to give you credit for the good ones. But you know, that's mileage may vary on that one. I do know Ricky and I talked about doing a show last week somehow, right? Where we were because we're like, it's the second to last episode, it's the penultimate episode. The shit's gonna go down in the penultimate episode. Dude, I took time out of my Comic-Con to watch that penultimate episode. And man, was it dumb. But you know what was really the dumbest part of it is it ends with Sonya asking Fury if he's gonna call his friends, to help. And he's like, nah.
Yeah, I'm good.
This one's personal. I'm gonna do it myself. Cut to next episode. Somebody other than Fury is doing it for Fury. And it's like, what the hell, man?
That's exactly it. That right there says everything you need to know about how the series ended. It was like, yeah. Fury was like, nah, I've got to go do. Oh wait, no. Instead, I'm going to go end this one scroll that I had a really intense conversation with him in a bar, so I've got to go handle that instead.
It also didn't make sense, like why he went back up to space. Like I never really got. Like
because he's got to be there
when he's got to be there for the Marvels
happens. Yeah, or when the Marvels happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously.
Like how? I mean, like we had a Nick Fury that decided it was better to save the president of the United States than take out like the thing that was going to threaten the world. Like he was just cool with like, I'm going to go save the president of this tiny little chunk of this thing that I've been worried about this entire time, that I've been protecting, that I set up an Avengers initiative to keep this ball safe, but I'm going to go worry about this guy and this one scroll, and I'm going to let Talos's daughter go and handle this guy that I don't have very much faith that she can handle. Unless a plan happens very strategically that gives her powers in the moment that she needs them. It just all felt like it didn't, like I said earlier, it never really brought me the Fury that's always on point, that's always got a plan with a plan, underwrapped in a plan, covered with a plan just in case a plan fails. I never got that. I never got the strong, awesome, badass Fury that we're supposed to know. There were moments when he like grabbed a gun and looked cool, but it wasn't the Fury that was the guy that set up the Avengers. It wasn't the Fury that looked at the panel of like big shadowy, you know, world powers and just told them, "No, I'm gonna do it my way." That wasn't the Fury we got in this show.
Yeah.
And they kept playing up the old Fury, tired Fury, Fury's no good anymore. And that would have been fine if we had gotten that Fury that we know and had shown them all. Like,
Well, he put on the eye patch. You know, that means he's
well, exactly. He put on the
so
eye
much
patch,
of
but
the
he
status
didn't put
quo
on
was
the
reset.
persona.
Yeah. So much status quo was reset in this movie, so that when you ask like why did he go back to space, because it has to be exactly the way it was before the show started, because we're not sure if Marvel's ever going to reference the show again because it wasn't good. Like everybody's still wondering, is Eternals 2 happening? Like is that ever going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, so now Secret Invasion is probably another one. Like they're like, do we keep going with the scroll thing, or do we just put it on a newspaper in the background or something like that? You know, like
I hope we get an Eternals too. I think there's more that could be cool there.
I want
to. Although I do really think that at some point we should really have more than one singular reference to the Titan growing out of the ocean.
I know, right?
I mean, just like one off.
That's
like
what apparently the next Captain America is about. Is about that.
Okay, well then I'm okay with it because that's kind of cool. Like that's the thing. I think Eternals has some mileage still for some cool stuff. It got weird. It got celestial, spacey, and I want more of that stuff. You know, I thought going into Secret Invasion that I wanted more of the spy stuff, the intrigue, the Winter Soldiery stuff, and now I don't know that I do.
It wasn't really spy
I kind of
stuff,
feel
though.
like I didn't get what I was looking for there.
I honestly think like if this wasn't called Secret Invasion, it would be a better show. You know, like it's.
I don't think the name matters. I think it's
the execution.
It didn't. Yeah, the execution just went nowhere. Like I don't know what I was supposed to care about in this show ever. Like I thought it was Nick Fury, and I don't think I really came out of this liking him more. In fact, I think I like him less.
Are you supposed to like Nick Fury though?
Yeah, man, he's a character. He had his own Marvel comic. Like he's the guy. He's the linchpin of it all. Like he's the yes. You're supposed to like Nick Fury.
Agreed. I think you are. I think you're supposed to question his motives at times, just like Batman. Batman with his list of how to stop all the Justice League. Like you're supposed to like him, but question his motives at times, and the fact that he is maybe a little more ruthless or cunning than you,
because it's a weird
likable characters to have. But you are supposed to like the fact that this character will literally go to all ends to keep Earth safe. And
it's.
Nick
I
Fury
wish they would have gotten into a bit more on like what's his purpose and all this, because it's a Marvel world where there's no Avengers. There's really no team right now, right? It's everyone's kind of doing their own thing, and I kind of wish they would have addressed that maybe a little bit more on.
I think there's still Avengers though, because there's Ant-Man and Spider-Man, and
Spider-Man's not an Avenger anymore.
Spider-Man. Oh yeah, well, true. Forgot. Yes.
I gotta bring it up because I know, Dennis, we've talked about this time and time again on both on here and just in general. I think when we talked recently, when I was on last, we talked about the potential for the harvest, for the DNA, for things like that. And so it all, as they were dropping hints, I was like, oh, could there be something? Are we going to see something cool? How do you feel like, considering that what we extrapolated from Avengers was our payoff, how do you feel?
I think I felt angry for two reasons. One, because like it was just such a mashup of crap that like I couldn't really enjoy any single one moment of it, right? But two, I think they really pooped on the Super Skrull as a character. Like I think because let's make no mistake, this is the Super Skrull, right? Like that's what Gaia is. She's not the character named Clert that presents as a male and only has the powers of the Fantastic Four. I think he's a much more stylish look you know, and maybe we still get clerked. Maybe there's a way down the line, but at that point, it'll feel like redundant and dumber than her, because she's redundant in herself. Like what do you need Cole Obsidian and Thanos for? You know what I mean? Like it's like
You just drink all the juice. I was watching another YouTuber talk about this show, and as I brought up 2 episodes ago, like, why don't they go to the planet Thanos was on? That's a pretty good planet for home. Yeah. But with the harvest, again, that's another thing on the platter that I kind of wish. Let's go down that route. You know, Nick Fury got everyone's DNA.
He had people sent there to scrape.
I don't know if everyone in that fight was probably down with that. I think that'd be cool.
We're not down with that.
They definitely they did not know that was happening.
They didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, so it'd be cool to see like Bruce or people like, yo, what the fuck, Fury? Like, what is your purpose here? Like, what are you trying to do? You know?
Yeah, I would love for Gaia to like have had a cool character so that I could be excited about the potential of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and everybody finding out about them. You know what's kind of funny is if you think about it, maybe this is actually the better version of the Fantastic Four villain, because this justifies having the Fantastic Four, right? Because they have the powers that he doesn't have, or that she doesn't have. But that said, she has Captain Marvel powers, which is like undefinable. Those are just undefinable powers, so it makes everything pointless. But you know, maybe they need the Fantastic Four to defeat her because fire. Bad.
There were a couple of the like when it ran through the list of all the different like powers or heroes or whatever. There were a couple in there where I was like, what did you even gain from like Corvus Glaive?
Yeah.
What did you gain from?
They got a scaly arm.
And like
Proximate Midnight. Like what?
Yeah, or Collapse. They're all the same. They're just big dudes.
Like I mean, like, at least obviously do a little finger thing, like you know, which is
obviously
cool,
you turn on one half Ebony Maw, the other half Captain Marvel, and you're done.
And you're good. And you're good.
You don't need any other powers. You're good. It's fine.
And then there's you could even go further with the obvious. I'm sure I know people have pointed this already out, which is like how did she know how to use Mantis's like power, and how did they in general know? Like I was just gonna say, did they get a Cribs notes before like to know who's
you get a manual powers,
but like even put all that aside, I felt like I was watching the fight and parts of it looked cool, like but at the same time, like the Ebony Maw part, I thought looked cool the way that like kind of formed into it. But it was like 90% of the fight was just them flexing arms of characters or legs of characters. It wasn't even like they ended up like doing anything like cool with the abilities so much as it was like
you had to see Drax's arm or
we never even got to see a lightning bolt from Thor. We got flexes of arms and that was and legs, and that was basically it. And I was like, there's so much more you could do imagination wise with all of these powers.
Yeah, agreed.
Or maybe skip Corvus Glaive and put somebody that has a power that would be cool or maybe on screen and do something with it. But it was just ended up being a bunch of like flexing scenes of like, here's a recognizable arm, now I'm going to punch you with it. And that just seemed kind of anti-climactic for like you said, if this is the Super Scroll, it just sort of seemed like, wow, that's it. We're just going to get a beefy armed superhero for now. Okay.
Can I throw 2 other nitpicks in there about this? They can be beyond that.
Yeah.
One, why do you put all the DNA in one tube?
Like, that's weird. That's weird.
That's weird. Why are you mixing them all up? That's weird.
Why not?
That's weird. Did you plan on taking this as a drink sometime? And then 2, why would Gravik turn the machine on with Fury in the machine?
Because Fury's not going to get.
But do we know that?
Does he know that? Does
his scientists, they tested it on humans?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Give them abilities.
Like you took a big gamble, bro, and you lost because you turned that on with the dude sitting in the middle of the chamber with you. That's like has that guy never read a Marvel comic? Like seriously, that is dumb. You don't accidentally leave somebody there.
And even worse is their entire plan hinged on the fact that he turned it on to juice her up, if that didn't happen, what were they gonna do? She was gonna extremis him once or twice. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, she was just not gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
she was just gonna do the Steve Rogers. I can do this all day because I've got this one power. Like, it just didn't. It, like I said, it was. It seemed really weird that they were like, Fury was like, I've got to end this by myself, and then didn't care about the bigger threat and let her deal with it, and just happen chance she got juiced up enough to deal with it.
Well, I take it as if she failed, right, then he would have let the nuke go off, right? Because at that point,
No, because she would have turned into herself after she failed. Oh, you're saying, you know what I mean? Like,
from Fury's point of view, like,
yeah.
well, let's just nuke him, you know, like. But
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
Are you the next thing on the docket for Marvel is Loki? Comes out October 6th. Where are we at? Where are we at with that? Are we?
Is Jonathan Majors guilty or innocent yet? Because that's gonna make a big difference.
I believe last I saw about the whole situation was something where it was essentially like the girlfriend came out saying like, I was just as much at fault for the situation type of thing. I overreacted, but it didn't really it didn't really clear the slate per se for what, you know, allegedly he did. As far as I can
like
understand.
Disney hasn't dropped him yet. What is that?
No.
They're the only ones that haven't dropped him. That means they're panicking.
I think from what has come out, the specific thing that got him in jail is still pending, but from what the news seems to indicate, he will not be at fault. But since that story came out, other people have come out and said he is a pretty shitty person. Yeah, so what's weird about it?
Aggressive behavior on set and things of that nature have.
As part of this weird pending legal thing he's in, I know they cannot promote him in any way, shape, or form. So if you go like look up Ant-Man on Disney Plus, you will not see him in any of the promo stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the same is going to apply to Loki. But
which is super awkward.
It's going to be awkward. It'll be awkward.
He's the point of this season,
well,
right?
He can be in the show. You just can't like put him in the trailer.
I think you just got to do 6 episodes of Mobius on a jet ski. That's what you got to do.
Give me the Mobius jet ski show. That's it. That's all.
By the way, we are getting a Marvel Snap card of that.
Nice. No, I'm excited for Loki. I recently went back and rewatched the first season.
My favorite show.
And it's fantastic. It holds up. It's really great. That last episode is, Jonathan Majors' situation. Last episode is fire from beginning to end. It is so good. It
should be the bar for what these shows strive
for. That last episode is way better than the one we saw this week.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is like I really like when I went back and rewatched Loki, I was like, I watched that last episode and I was like, yes, that is the Marvel show, energy I want to keep getting. Like I'm excited for season 2 for a Secret Invasion. If they told me there was a season, they greenlit another season, I'd be like, well, I mean, there's that. That's a thing they're going to spend money on. Right now,
I'm going the breaks on the shows. There's really not. There's really nothing else announced after What If, right? Or after this X-Men. After this year's of show, and next year's X-Men and What If, there's really nothing coming.
I mean, that's to be fair. There's a writer's strike and an actor's strike, so we can not expect anything from a lot of different companies, not just Marvel.
I guarantee you we're getting a She-Hulk too, though. We're getting that. We got Daredevil coming. Daredevil's on there.
Oh yeah, Daredevil was supposed to be one of the next ones to come out, but it's that's seriously on.
It's the next year thing, anyways.
Yeah. Is Echo getting affected by?
Echo's done.
Supposed to be this year.
Echo's coming out in November.
It's still coming out.
It's all gonna come out at once. Yep.
Yeah, so
there's
still some stuff on the horizon to look forward to.
Well, let's pivot to another heroine. We had a return of Harley Quinn back on the old, now called Max. Harley Quinn's season 4, right?
Is your Max burying this show like mine is?
Yeah, it definitely didn't show up on my top banner or any of my
You have to look for it, man.
or any of that. Like it only, I just went to continue watching it.
It was
like,
the 7th new episodes on my list of new episodes thing. It's the 7th one. I was like, it just came out yesterday. How are you dropping 6 other things on top of that? That's rude.
And rude. when I have an algorithm that is literally like 97% DC shit on that app, maybe prioritize a little bit better.
It's offensive that I watch so much DC content on that app, and it doesn't want to tell me that Harley Quinn season 4 came out.
Exactly.
F them, man. They're so wrong. This show should keep going on forever. I freaking love it. And I like, is it? They dropped 3 episodes this week.
Yep.
And each episode is following the new antics of as Harley and Ivy try to work on their work-life balance, because they are working at opposing jobs, basically.
Yeah.
Harley is now taking her turn to be
in the Bat
family. She's a trainee in the Bat family, learning from Alfred, Nightwing, Robin, and Batgirl. And meanwhile, Ivy has been promoted to the CEO of the Legion of Doom, and she's now in charge of all the villainy, because Lex is flying off into the moon in a penis rocket. Yeah. So it's hilarious, because when they come and hang out with each other, they want to have you want to do like you do when you go home to your significant other, right? You want to tell them about your day. But every time they tell each other about their day, it's giant red flags, right? It's like if you work for McDonald's and your significant other was a vegan, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it's direct opposition. So it's making for an interesting recipe for this season. It's very different from the other seasons, because usually in the seasons kind of like benefit from the charm of having the two of them together, or and so it's weird to have them separated. I don't know that the Bat family is particularly funny. They're cute, funny, but like they are not Dr. Psycho funny, or Clayface funny, or King Shark funny. Like it's weird. I like Harvey Guillen as Nightwing with the best ass on the planet. Yes, that's funny. But he's not really doing anything. Like I get more fun from Harvey Guillen on What We Do in the Shadows than I do as Nightwing. So, but yeah, that said, they dropped 3 episodes. The first one was called Gotham's Hottest Hotties. The second one was Bitch, BITCH, and the third was Icons Only. That's where they went to Vegas, by the way. Do you guys want to talk about each of the episodes, or just what your impressions were overall?
I mean, as a sum, like they all kind of blended together. I watched them earlier today. It's more Harley Quinn. I think the show does a good job at poking fun at the DC universe. They don't take cheap shots, right? I don't think they go for the low-hanging fruit. There's some pretty deep cuts in terms of jokes, or what they choose to make fun of, or make light of. But to your point, like you mentioned, yeah, without the villain cast of seasons past, it is a little weird. The Bat family is kind of stoic and happy-go-lucky in the terms of like Batgirl, but it's not like, I don't know if edgy is the right word, right? And then the Legion of Doom's kind of the same way. There's this kind of, you got Bane there, which is always a fan favorite, but the other guys are like,
I do like Snowflame, because he's consistently doing rails of cocaine in that show.
That was pretty funny.
I've never heard of that character before, but I like him. But yes, everybody else is kind of lame, right? Like there's kind of like these are kind of like the most boring villains that are almost just set to make Bane look funnier.
Well, I think that's the thing, is when we first met Bane in the series, he was one of the League, and he was like he would just show up for a comedic moment or two, but then they realized like people really like Bane. We got to put Bane in a lot more of this. Like none of the characters that were in the League right now, except for maybe what would you say his name was?
Snowflame.
Snowflame. Yeah, except for maybe that character, we're really that type of character. We're hitting as like a Bane could. But it did give Bane a little bit more, to elevate that character, which is always funny.
They're really like at the D list, and I'll commend the show to death. In prior seasons, they killed off some heavy hitters, and
I like how they were referencing.
Yeah,
that
they reference it.
Like they were like, oh, she had to get rid of Scarecrow off her phone because, oh yeah, that guy's dead. Like,
yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but what does it leave you? Kind of like,
I mean, there's a lot. The Legion of Doom has a lot of characters that they're just not really leaning into. I mean, Sinestro's a cool one. Black Manta's cool. Like they can do stuff with Black Manta. It's fine. I'm not gonna nitpick like this early because like I still do enjoy the stories I'm getting. Like I loved that like Professor Pig was going around chopping off the most beautiful parts of live streamers. Like that's such a weird commentary on something. I can't even understand it. But I do love that, Harley just demolished his head with a baseball bat. And it just reminds you, like, Bat Family.
He's dead, right?
Oh, very dead.
He is very dead. He's very, very dead. And I just love that, like, when she does that, Robin just looks at it and it's like, cool, because that kid's a killer too. And so, like, I love those little moments where they know
that was good.
They remember who these characters are, and they definitely show you that they have a lot of reverence for the DC universe, but they also are free of the shackles of being, strictly respectful of everything. And what I know that this show still hits good because I actually watched the second episode with a friend over who had never seen the show before, doesn't really watch a lot of comic stuff, but he knew, like I asked him, what Harley Quinn is, or who Harley Quinn is. He said, oh yeah, I think I saw her movie and stuff. Like he understands who the character is, right? He sat through this episode and he was shocked. He was just like DC lets this happen. Like, and I was like, okay, the show still does have its edge.
It does.
Because if you've never seen a Harley Quinn, it's pretty freaking shocking, man. But I think we're just so desensitized to the amount of Harley Quinn that we've gotten. I think we're a little spoiled. I think
we're 3 seasons in. It has
we've been to the shocks.
It's shocked us numerous times. But the thing about the show is like you said, it reveres the DC lore, the DC universe, but it's not shackled to it. And then the other strength of the show is that it just has the most ridiculous, outlandish and offensive dialogue ever thrown at at anything DC wise, and it just works so well because of that. Like there were just some lines and they're just in the lore of the show. Apparently Martian Manhunter and Grimes are dating, which is just awesome, hilarious. Apparently Grimes lit his penis on fire, so that's even more funny.
That's terrifying. That's his fear.
There's just so many things about the show, just dialogue wise, that just always hit. Like whether the episode is the strongest or like you guys were saying, the strength of the cast that was all united before, that are now kind of showing up as more sporadic moments. Like they're still there, but man, the dialogue with all of those characters is always fire. Like I'd never heard the term "jugs out, rugs out" until yesterday.
Oh my god, that was a good one.
So good.
That was a good one. That was another one that my friend watching it was like, "Wow, jugs out, that's pretty good. That's pretty good." But I thought he was gonna get up and leave when we saw the first person point of view of the baby sharks coming out of the vagina. Oh my god! Like, come on, man. This show still got it. That's disgusting. Do I get sad that I don't have Dr. Psycho? Always. Every single episode ever in the history of the show, I get sad when I don't have Dr. Psycho. but this show's still pretty damn funny, man. It's pretty good.
Dude, when they were all pointing out all the different signs and things that said "Don't kill," and they
Yeah,
had
that's pretty funny.
the "In This House We Believe In" version of it.
That sign was
Yeah.
hilarious.
That slayed me. Like there was a couple other funny
That
signs.
Black
but
Lives Do Matter.
The
And,
fact that
and
they dropped that in the middle, that was one of them. Oh man,
we
I
believe in science.
lost. Science
You know,
don't
like,
kill.
yeah. Oh, my wife said that was like the most liberal thing ever, and she just loved it because it was
That
so
was good.
accurate.
That was
It
good.
was good. Yes.
Yeah.
That was
No,
hilarious.
that's the thing. Is like that is where that show shines. Is that it's allowed to play like dirty with DC lore, and it's allowed to go for a thing like that where you're just like, wow, they went for the "In This House We Believe" sign. That's brilliant. That is very on point for this time.
Or when Snowflame said that like Lex went woke, or I think was it Snowflame wasn't who said it. I think somebody else was like Metallo or one of the other ones like got mad because Lex went woke and hired Ivy, and I thought that was just really funny because he was using it in that negative way that people use
exactly.
And it's so funny because the show knows that it's woke and it chooses to use its wokeness in the most hilarious ways. Like, but if you didn't know for sure the show was woke, it's about two lesbians. That's what the show's about. That's at the simplest level. The show is about two lesbians in love.
Yep.
Everything else is like cool icing on the cake, like, oh, it happens to be in the Batman universe and it happens to have a massive amount of violence and swearing and all this stuff. That's all stripped down. It's a lesbian love story, and it's awesome for that, so don't be surprised when it gets way more woke all the time. It's just that's just what it is. It's current operating. It's the only way it knows how to operate.
I went back and listened to it and read the lyrics 3 times for the Hakarl Gumbo song. Like when it said your offspring will bear the sting of your and be haunted by your choices to make the Hakarl Gumbo, I was just like, I gotta go back and I gotta hear these lyrics one at a time, section by section, and take these in. And it was worth the time to go through those lyrics one by one. That song was brilliant.
I like how his wife almost loved him after he got her that gumbo.
Almost.
But then she ended up making out with the magician after giving birth to 9 babies, right? Like,
oh my goodness, so good. Yeah. I was happy that I chose to watch Harley after.
I don't have a bad time watching that show. And again, all the isms it chooses to tackle DC and real life. It is remarkable that there is still stuff for them to poke fun at this point, right? And they haven't, with all the changes that happened to DC the past few months, that this show is still happening.
Yeah. I also do the thing we didn't mention that I also really appreciate is like they always keep finding a way to like put a spotlight on a different part of the Batman universe, and I really dig that this season's going to have a lot of Talia because Talia doesn't get enough credit sometimes, but she's like one of the most badass of all of Batman's villains, right? Like she had his baby, and then she dropped that baby off at the door and said, "Peace, I'm out."
I'm gonna go run in the Citizens League.
That's the mother of his child. Like that's his baby mama, and she is ruthless. And I really love that. Like this story is setting it up that like not only is she taking over Wayne Enterprises because somehow she's legally like obligated or like entitled to it, but she is also going up against Poison Ivy, you know what I mean? At the same time, like this is cool. This is a really cool villain. Like I actually was really stoked when she ended up, like spoilers, ends up being the villain in the Gotham Knights game. You know that, right? Everybody knows that. She's amazing in that game, and I think it's just really fun that this character is getting put like center stage for a lot of stories right now. And I appreciate if, like she's a really good antagonist to these two characters. Like I think it's fun that in the final season of it, it gets to be a woman that is actually a credible threat. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be fun when they kill her, because they're probably gonna kill her. And you know what? She'll probably get Lazarus, or they'll make some Lazarus joke where they don't let her go in or something like that. And it's gonna be great. And I'm not gonna be mad. Like I'm not mad when anybody dies on the show. It's just super funny.
In general, for the most part, I like the way that they play with characters, like whether they kill him or whether they do something like Joker, where I mean he's basically so lame now that he's so stoked to get the littlest bit of gossip information about what the underground's doing. He's like what you have a character in the Joker that is always essentially put up as the most horrific, threatening, sociopathic, biggest threat in Batman's universe, and this show has taken him to a point where he is the mayor. He is nothing. He is basically
he's a dad.
He's just and that is what this show does really well, is it flips everything and takes the strength out of the weird and the unusual and the B players and D and C players, and brings those strengths to the forefront. Like, I think it's cool. Like I when those Joker scenes happened, I laughed quite well at the fact that Joker is just so lame now. Like, this is DC. The Joker is always a big big thing, So the fact that he's so lame on this show is brilliant, because they know that they can take what DC considers one of their biggest strengths and chop it down to nothing, and the show will still ride.
But I think the charm is, you got to always remember that the show is through the eyes of Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and so
he is
nothing.
He is meaningless. He
is nothing to her at this point. And so he has, in her eyes, he has no power. And so that's why he's depicted that way. And I think it's really cool that it's a story of growth for her, right? It started out as a breakup story, but it evolved into this love story.
Exactly.
And it's awesome.
And a story of overcoming abuse and a backstory that you're not proud of, whatever that story could be.
But it's fun.
Even Ivy's got a history that she's kind of walked away from in the show too. So
she's still cool. Yeah, but it's fun to see the Joker have to be second fiddle or even more than that. It's fun because Harley is the main character of this story, and she is a very rich character. We got to be reminded once again that she's still got Harleen in there deep down, and Harleen wants to come out and wants to do smart things and be a science person and Harley is not having it. Harley does not
wanted to get out of that mirror so bad.
She wanted to get out of that mirror so bad, and it's that's some deep shit, man. That's really they're doing some weird stuff. And then
that's a great way to look. That scene played off as kind of funny and whatever, but
it's the undertones,
underlying trauma, and a lot of really cool mental health and other aspects that are just sitting right under the surface there. They kind of bubble up every once in a while. When she was kind of taking on her other persona so that she could do all the bad stuff. There was a point when she came out of the elevator and things were happening and her face kind of changed. She all of a sudden, she realized everything around her wasn't maybe so great. Maybe I don't want to do this. And you could just see a little bit of the Harleen shell crack, or the Harley shell crack a little bit.
But also that Harley got to see through her eyes. We got to see the love that Alfred has for Bruce Wayne, that he would rob a bank so that he could go to jail and be his butler. Oh my god, that was so awesome, and I love that Harley is the one that busted him for it and put him away.
Yes.
Like that's the layers of things going on there. Like I actually felt it. I felt it. I was like, that is so sweet. Like I can believe there's a version of Alfred that would totally do that.
100%.
And that's adorable to me. So like
That's
I really
his-
love how much this show loves Batman fans. You know, like
his son's in jail. I mean,
yeah.
it's his son. Like he's going to do everything he can for him. That's how much love Alfred has for that child.
And apparently he's a thriving DJ.
Yeah,
who knew? What is this show, man? I love it so much. I love it. That's why I'm just being patient. I know we're gonna get Dr. Psycho. It's gonna happen.
We love this show. Not so much Secret Invasion.
Not so much.
But more importantly, we love you all. It's 100 episodes. We gotta
he did say hard stop.
He did say hard stop.
Hard stop.
That was the hardest stop. Ricky, yes, we do. We love everybody who watches this now and in the future. It's us just hanging out, talking about the things that you may or may not have watched, but we did, and we loved them or hated them. Got one of each this week, you know.
Right. There's a lot of really good nerd stuff out there right now. Maybe not all of it. You know, we didn't get a twofer on the wins this week, but there's other stuff out there.
We were looking at our schedule, man. We're pretty set for the fall.
There's a Turtles movie coming up. We got
Marvels.
We got
Blue Beetle.
The Boys has some stuff, and the Invincible
Loki.
When we do it, there's a new episode of special episode of Invincible out right now.
Really?
That they just dropped about the girl. What's her name?
It's been a while since I watched the show.
Yeah, the redhead. Something Eve or something. Whatever.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah.
There's a special episode kind of about her origin.
Adam Eve.
Adam Eve. Yeah. That just dropped this week. So I saw that on Prime.
Okay.
For me.
Dude, there's a lot of content, man. Futurama came out.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, What We Do in the Shadows is going. We just got another season of Sweet Tooth. If anybody's watching that, we've got
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal. I just watched the first episode of that.
Oh, it just came out today. Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Okay.
It's fun.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
New episodes of The Witcher dropped last night as well.
Yeah.
Second half of the season.
If you like this content and want to get more, what do you do, Dennis?
I guess you go watch Netflix, right?
Oh.
No, I know what you meant.
Disney Plus.
You meant like and subscribe to this show first before you go to all the other ones.
You should do that.
Yeah,
that.
Subscribe.
And then we got a Patreon. Yeah. Patreon.com/DenXmedia.
DenXmedia.
Subscribe. Be a fan.
Yeah. We do all kinds of stuff. We got toy photography stuff that I've been posting a lot of lately. I got my stuff at the art show at Comic-Con, and then I passed out a bunch of business cards / zines that had a QR code. We got like 70 some.
Your art is in people's houses right now.
My art is in people's houses, and you can see that art on patreon.com/DenXmedia.
And you should, because it's
a variety of other things. But yeah, I think that's it right now, right? We nothing else to plug. Ian, you plug anything?
Not plugging anything.
Plugging what about Legos together?
Plugging 100. Oh, I'm plugging. You got that Lego life going on behind me.
There you go. You
just jealous of that shelf.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, true believers,
and thanks to Clark for hanging out in the audience.
Thank you, Clark. Good to see you.
We appreciate it. We glad to always have you on the show. Is that it, guys? Are we
That's
done?
it. Thanks, true believers.
Thank you so much.
Enough said.